There's nothing in our pocket to protect, and parents are given name Dhanapali. It's kind of fascinating how good scriptural, spiritual names get shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and meaningless, actually. Don't take me wrong, but I want to give you an example. If you didn't like it, just forget it, but it's just to make a point. I went to one place, one home program, and in the middle of the class, there wasn't water there, so my throat was getting a little parched. So I said, Prabhu, can I have water? And the Prabhu called out to his daughter to get water. What was his daughter's name? Sushma. And this I got to know later. And you will be flabbergasted and flummoxed to know what the short form was. He called out to his daughter, Susu! Zara pani la? I was thinking to myself. And I didn't know her name is Sushma. She said, Susu, zara andar se leke aa. Pani leke aa zara. I was thinking, Prabhuji, isse acha main pyasa mar jaun. Then I didn't understand, and the audience were laughing because they knew this was the short form, and I was like, wait a minute, what is happening? He said, nahi Prabhuji, aap chinta na kare, unka naam Sushma hai, hum aise hi bulate hain unko. Ghar pe ghar ka मामला है. मतलब पर मैं तो बाहर का हूँ ना. I am an outsider. So anyway, the point is, authentic spiritual names are shortened and made meaningless just for the sake of calling. But the real culture in Vedic, in Vaishnava communities, in Vaishnava tradition, is that the name is Krishna conscious, and we call the whole name so that we call out to Krishna in Namabhas. This is the purpose. This is the purpose. We don't want to shorten it and then lose on the spiritual merit that we can get by actually calling Krishna's name. The story of Ajamal should wake us up. So, like I have seen one devotee by the name, I don't want to name, he has a name, and at home he's called RK, short form, or whatever the R and K is, Radha Krishna, Ram Krishna, whatever it may be. So I didn't say, but I was thinking to myself, by saying RK, I don't know how much spiritual advancement you can make. But by actually calling Ram Krishna, or Ram, or Radha Krishna, whatever it may be, there's so much advancement that we can make. And Srila Prabhupada would say that the most important word in the word, the initiated word that we get, the name that we get, is Das. Which means being the servant and seeing others to be servants of Krishna, we should be able to remind each other of Krishna. By saying the short form of Sushma, we don't remind each other of Krishna. Right? Or by saying RK, we don't remind each other of Krishna. So in this case, as we are discussing, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, as he was passing by, he had this companion called Ramdas Vishwas. So his name was befitting his character, because he would continuously chant the name of Rama. He would say Ram, 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 day in, day out. And Raghunath Bhatt Goswami was very positively amazed to see this. That how this personality, and he was not a Brahminical oriented person by birth. He was from the Kayastha community. He worked for the king. And still he had so much faith in the holy name. And when Raghunath Bhatt Goswami would go on this path, Ramdas Vishwas would pick up the bags for Raghunath Bhatt Goswami and say, you're a Brahmana, it is my duty to serve you. And Raghunath Bhatt Goswami would say, no, it's my duty to serve you because you're chanting the holy names of Sri Ram. Anyone who chants the holy name, he inherits the mercy of the Lord. Vede Ramayane Chaiva Purane Bharate Tatha Adau Ante Cha Madhye Cha Hari Sarvatra Giyate. The essence in the Veda, in the Ramayana, in the Puranas, and the Itihasas, like the Mahabharata. Adau Ante Cha Madhye Cha. In the beginning, middle, and end of all of Vedic wisdom, there's only one purport: to continuously chant the holy name of Krishna. By continuously chanting the holy name of Krishna, we associate with Krishna, Srila Prabhupada says. In that famous interview that Srila Prabhupada has, the television interview that we see. And the interviewer asked Srila Prabhupada, why you guys always keep chanting Hare Krishna? And Srila Prabhupada gives a very beautiful example of how you keep in touch with the radio. The sound of the radio, you keep in touch with what's happening around. Similarly, by the sound of Krishna now, we keep in touch with God. So the more we chant the holy name of Sri Krishna with our tongue, lesser is the time for any other nonsense. We don't have time to gossip. We don't have time to backbite. We don't have time to, and any energy left to speak about anything else. Who did what is not my business. To go around talking about devotees is not why the tongue is given for. Krishna will take the tongue away in next life if this is how you misuse it. The tongue is meant to vibrate Krishna Nam. And if you cannot do it, silence is better. There is a saying, we should open our mouth only when what we are going to say is going to be better than silence. So this is again coming back to the point of if you chant attentively and we put priority on chanting and hearing, as Srila Prabhupada would say, then all the negativity goes away. There's a very famous proverb that when you face the sun, your shadow falls behind you. So when we face towards the positivity of bhakti, then all the negativity leaves our lives. So this is the positive engagement. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Ramdas Vishwas and Raghunath Bhatta Goswami finally reached Nilachara Puri Kshetra Dham, Purushottam Kshetra Dham, Shankha Kshetra, Shri Kshetra, Vipralamba Kshetra. And when Raghunath Bhatta Goswami entered the Gambhira, he was literally trembling. We cannot even fathom. They are eternal associates of Radharani. And now they have already witnessed the ecstasies of Radharani in separation. And now they are going to witness the ecstasies of Krishna when he takes the mood of Radharani, and all of this in the Gambhira. It is called Gambhira because Gambhira in Sanskrit means intense. Very serious and grave. These pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of ecstasy, where he's jumping and falling as a bag of bones, and sometimes his hands and legs get dislocated, and sometimes they go inside and he's like a tortoise with a shell, and sometimes he's frothing and foaming, and sometimes he's weeping and rolling on the ground, and sometimes hits his head against the wall with blood all over his face. This is all very serious, and therefore they form the portion of Antilila Chaitanya Charitamrita. After systematically studying the Bhagavad Gita, the 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Adi Lila, Madhya Lila, and then we enter these pastimes. So when Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, who is a Gambhira Bhakta, enters the Gambhira, he starts vibrating because of resonance. The resonance. Because of resonance he's vibrating, because he's Gambhira and the place is Gambhira and it is resonating. Others cannot because they don't have the same frequency of spiritual intensity. So he went with Ramdas Vishwas and both of them bowed down to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked at him and he said, "Who are you?" Raghunath Bhatta Goswami said, "Who are you?" Raghunath Bhatta Goswami said, "Mahaprabhu, Raghunath." Mahaprabhu said, "Who Raghunath?" He said, "Your one and only servant, Raghunath." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Yes, this is correct. The son of Tapana Mishra." And he embraced. Now, it was very beautiful to know why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not recognize Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. What is the lesson? Before, when he was dealing with Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was a child who had not learned the scriptures. But now, after learning the scriptures, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to see whether or not he had developed any tinge, any trace, any iota of pride because of his learning. So he tried to push him away. But when he saw that the sun of humility, the rays of humility were dawning from the horizon of his heart, Mahaprabhu embraced him. He gave him personal service. He told Swarup Damodar Goswami, "Raghunath Bhatta will stay with me tonight, here at the Gambhira, witnessing my pastimes. And then tomorrow, you change his accommodation and give him a better accommodation." Because the place was filled with blood and it was a very confidential place. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami had a different accommodation from the next day. And for 8 months, he personally served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Every day, day and night, day and night, day and night in Jagannath Puri Dham. And his personal service included cooking for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is described Raghunath Bhatt Goswami was an excellent cook. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radharani herself. And we know how excellent, we have heard how excellent Radharani is as a cook. Srila Prabhupada said, the kitchen is Radharani's kitchen. Because she cooks exceptional dishes for Krishna and she never repeats a preparation. So for someone of that caliber to come and accept our cooking, how nervous would that be? But interestingly, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami was externally and internally a good cook. What does that mean? Externally, his preparations, his sabjis tasted very wonderful. And internally, his mood of service, his humility, his tolerance, his service attitude was very delicious. This is the point. Our pakoras and our samosas and our kachoris and our dal and sabji may be perfect externally. But it will not give any pleasure to Krishna if it is not cooked with devotion. If it is cooked, or sometimes we offer, let me be honest to myself. Sometimes to my shaligrams, I have to be very honest here. Sometimes I feel hungry, so I make an offering to my shaligrams with the intention that when they accept it, it is offered and then I can have. So it's actually not pure. I am not cooking and feeding them for their satisfaction with devotion. The ulterior desire is that I want to eat, but because I don't want to be touched by karma of bhoga, I'm misusing my shaligrams as a karma purifying machine. So I sometimes tell myself that this is not how it should be. Krishna gets better kachoris and samosas in Goloka Vrindavan. Krishna gets better dal and better rice and rotis in Goloka Vrindavan. What forces him to accept our offering is not the excellent, super excellent, delicious nature of the preparation, but the super excellent, delicious nature of the intention behind that preparation. Like we know, Srila Prabhupada, he would time and again speak about the old lady at Radha Damodar temple who would get water pots from the Yamuna and offer it to Radha Damodar. And Srila Prabhupada would say she was a pure Vaishnavi. Now, externally speaking, offering water to Krishna, the action seems to be very simple. But Srila Prabhupada saw her consistency every single day. During his 9 preparatory years in Radha Damodar, he saw this Mataji steadfast, consistent. Sometimes we have that enthusiasm for 2 days and then it goes away. Then again 2 days and then it goes away. Like we sometimes joke, we chant 16 and then 32 and then 48 and then 1 lakh and then 2 lakhs, then 3 lakhs, then relax, then relapse. There is no consistency. Krishna likes consistency. Krishna likes intention. The action may be insignificant, but the intention is what makes ordinary into extraordinary. How many elephants have been caught by crocodiles? So many. But the intention of call makes that act which is ordinary into extraordinary. How many women around the world, every minute, every second, get touched by male members of the society? So Draupadi being touched by Dushasan was just another ordinary event. But what made it extraordinary is our intention of transforming that negative situation into positive by calling out to Krishna with devotion. So what happens to us may be ordinary, but our intention makes the ordinary into extraordinary. So many such examples. Krishna accepting the banana peel of Vidurani over the elaborate cooking preparation of Duryodhan. Krishna is not interested in seeing what we are doing. Krishna is more interested in seeing, tasting and smelling why we are doing, how we are doing, whatever we are doing. It's possible to lead a kirtan very melodiously, the raga according to the time of the day, even bringing tears in the audience. It's possible. But if that is tinged with the desire that how many people are looking at me, how many of them are appreciating, then it doesn't even touch the ears of Krishna. We think there are no harmonium players and no classical singers in Goloka Vrindavan. They're singing complex ragas for Krishna's pleasure. Krishna doesn't have to come to see my chords on the harmonium. That's too basic for him. But He will come to see if my intention is to call out to Him. It's very easy to sit here and speak. But if the desire is to make more followers or have some mundane, ulterior, inner mixed motives, it doesn't matter how complex or how decorative or flowery the presentation is, it doesn't impress Krishna. The South Indian Brahmana, he didn't know anything. Mahaprabhu embraced him because the intention was more important. Bhakti is not about how skilled and talented we are. This is what we get from our past lives. How someone is talented, how skilled someone is, who can do what, is on the basis of past karma. What can we do? Some can do one can have one skill, the other person can have two skills, the third person can have three skills. But it is temporary. It's going to finish with the body. And it's prarabdha, we have collected from past lives. Aneka janma arjita punya. But what we do with that skill, how sincere we are in our intention, is what attracts Krishna. That's what attracts Krishna. Gajendra gave that flower to Krishna. But Krishna doesn't have flowers in Goloka Vrindavan. He's Vaijayanti mala barha pidam natavara vapuhu karanayoho karanikaram bhibrat vasaha kanaka kapisham Vaijayantim jamalam. The one holding that lotus flower, Lakshmi, massages his lotus feet for eternity. But what attracted Krishna towards that lotus was not the lotus, but what was behind the lotus. Bhakti is all about intention. But at the same time, this cannot be taken onto the other extreme, saying, Prabhu, you don't know my intention. You're just judging me on my action. I can do any nonsense possible, but my intention is good. That's taking this thing too far away from the domain of discussion. So we must make sure that when we speak about others, we see their intention more than their action. Because Krishna sees intention more than their action. But when we are dealing, we should make sure our action reflects our intention. Our action reflects our intention. One could be an excellent garland maker, for example. Krishna is not very happy wearing it. If it is for the desire that when I put it on the deity, people will come and see who made the garland. Krishna is going to smell even if it's very mediocre as far as ability is concerned. If it is done, Krishna, I know this flower is going to touch your body. I am utterly unqualified to offer this service. But I just want to make sure that you're comfortable wearing this garland. May you be pleased with this service. Krishna accepts that. Krishna smells our intention louder than people hear our words. So every limb of bhakti is like that. Our intention matters. So Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was an excellent cook, internally and externally. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would lick his fingers. And when devotees would ask, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would say, Raghunath Bhatta is such an excellent cook. This is the taste of his heart. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would say, this is the taste of his heart. Because he's putting his heart into it. So after 8 months of service, cooking for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, massaging his lotus feet, and distributing his prasadam, washing off his plate, cleaning off his room, being in his Nam Sankirtan, witnessing his ecstasy, 8 months. Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami thought to himself, Ramdas Vishwas also came with me, but why he didn't get this mercy? So he asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my Lord, I want to ask you this question. Both of us came together. But why is it that you showered your profuse causeless mercy on me and then Ramdas Vishwas was bereft of this mercy? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked very sternly into the eyes of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami and he said, externally he's constantly chanting the holy names of Sri Ram. But internally he harbors the desire to merge in the effulgence of God. He's chanting the holy name to become one with God. And I could sense it as Paramatma. And also because of his scholarly learning, he's very proud. And I have no time for such people. So beautiful a point. What attracts Krishna is our humility. Our skills don't attract Krishna. Krishna has better people in that skill at his disposal. Krishna has oceans and we are trying to attract him with the skill of a pond. Let's say a drop. We may have an ability which is like sweet rice. But if there is even one grain of pride in that, it's like poison. Mahaprabhu doesn't accept it. Also, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very great. He's the Supreme Lord. And when we think we are great, like the rules of magnetism, light poles repel. When we think we are great, Mahaprabhu is already great, and that is a fact. And when we think we are great, light poles repel. But when we are humble, that attracts a flow of mercy. You see, the rain falls on all the top peaks of the mountain first. But because they stand tall, they can hold that rain shower. They receive it, but they don't have the vessel to hold it. All that rain shower flows down and gets collected in a lowly formed muddy pool because of its humility. So Ramdas Vishwas, although he didn't speak, and Raghunath Bhatt Goswami himself was very impressed. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Super Soul could see it. So 8 months Raghunath Bhatt Goswami served like this. And at the end of 8 months, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, yes, now you should go back to Varanasi. Na vina vipralambhena sambhogam pushtim ashnute. Without separation, union cannot be nourished. Na vina vipralambhena sambhogam pushtim ashnute. Nourishment of meeting happens only by forced separation. Therefore, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when chanted offenselessly, brings in the mood of separation, because this Mahamantra is in the mood of separation. The Goswamis experience separation by chanting these names. He Radhe Braja Devi Ke Lalite He Nanda Sunaha Kutaha. Our mood is not of the fact that I have seen Krishna. Krishna came in my dream and showed his form or whatever. People would come and tell Srila Prabhupada all this. Krishna came in my dream. Prabhupada listened. One person came and said to Srila Prabhupada that Krishna came in my dream last night. And Prabhupada looked at him and said, next time when he comes, offer my obeisances to him. Because I am still searching for him. Prabhupada said. So our mode is that of separation. It's not about I have got Krishna, but Kabe habe bolo se de nama. When will that day be mine? On that calendar, is it going to be 2018 is also gone? I have not got Krishna yet. Is it going to be 2016 gone, 17 gone, 18 gone? I have still not got taste in the holy name. I have still not overcome my vices. I have not got any taste in any bhakti, any service attitude. Is it going to be 2019 or is it going to be 2020, 2022? Oh Krishna, please honestly tell me what date on the calendar am I going to become pure? Enough of saying someday in the future you will become a pure devotee. Krishna, but when? Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitam ati kiyatam yadi kutopi labhyate tatra laulyam ekam mulyam koti janma sukritir na labhyate. The only price to get Krishna is hankering and eagerness. Deep desire to have him. Krishna is ready to give himself to those who sincerely want him and nothing from him. They don't want Krishna because they want something that belongs to him. And therefore they're asking Krishna. No, Krishna wants to give himself to people who want him and not things out of him. So Raghunath Bhatt Goswami was heartbroken. He looked at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he said, you did this to my father and now you're doing this to me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, you have to go back to your parents. They're devotees and they have no one in this world except you. You should go and serve them. So this is another lesson as children also. That if parents are Krishna conscious, we make advancement by assisting and serving them. In the philanthropic world, they say just serve your parents and then you will get God. Well, serving your parents is definitely dharmic, no doubt. But there is no mention of getting God by this. If parents are Krishna conscious, then serving parents constitutes to be Vaishnava Seva. Oftentimes in the story of Pandharpur, Lord Vitthala, the story of Pundalik Mahashaya is explained of how he was serving his parents and the Supreme Lord appeared to him in happiness and Pundalik said, I am serving my parents, you stand on this brick, and the Lord continued standing there on a vitha or eater, and therefore he's called Vitthala because he's waiting there. And oftentimes in Maharashtra, the professional reciters, they say, just by serving your parents, you will get God. God is not there. God is in your house. And then it has a twist of Mayavad and, you are God, I am God, everyone is God, you serve me, I serve you. And, it's a total mess after that. So serving parents is good. It's definitely dharmic. But if they are devotees also, then it constitutes to be Vaishnava Seva. And if parents don't assist their Krishna conscious, if kids don't assist their Krishna conscious parents, that's not very appropriate. They are also devotees. So we have tips for kids also here and children also. It's very wonderful to assist because parents are slogging so much. Whatever we have today is by the mercy of our parents. They have given their lives to give us what we have. Sometimes in initial immature Krishna consciousness, when we become too over-enthusiastic, we start discarding and talking ill about them. You don't know, you're not a devotee. Chanting is all everything. But we fail to realize that today we are able to chant because of the fingers and the body where parents have really contributed. We are indebted to them. And if we really care for them, even if they are non-devotees, we can pray for them. We can give them books, we can give them prasad. And there is a very positive, soft way to mold. And what to speak if they are already devotees. Just by serving and assisting them humbly, we make advancement. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, you should go. And Tapana Mishra Mahashaya is a very wonderful Vaishnava. You should serve them till their end. You should not come back to Puri. And you should study Srimad Bhagavatam and chant the holy name while being in Varanasi, so that you're not attacked by any Maya. Raghunath Bhatt Goswami was still not satisfied. He was looking at Mahaprabhu and there was something vacant because he had to now walk all the way back. When he came running to Jagannath Puri, the distance seemed very short. But now, relativity with respect to space. That same distance is going to be eternal time walking. So he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I will take this if I am empowered by you. Can you give me any of your prasad? And immediately, without a second thought, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu removed his neck beads and tied around Raghunath Bhatt Goswami's neck. Neck beads, tulsi beads of Mahaprabhu. He tied around Raghunath Bhatt Goswami and he said, you don't worry. Now you see what comes through this tongue. This is the start of Raghunath Bhatt Goswami's recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yahara Vaishnava Pada Yahara Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavera Sthane Ekanta Ashraya Koro Chaitanya Charane. Swarup Damodar Goswami has said, Bhagavatam must be studied at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas who have taken shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu, whose personification of Bhagavatam, personification of Bhakti, his kanthi touched the kantha of Raghunath Bhatt Goswami and melodies after melodies started emanating from his tongue. Bhagavatam opened up in the heart and the fragrance started coming through the mouth. In the Bhagavatam, one more beautiful point is mentioned. Please chant. Tvaya upabhukta shrag gandha Vasalankara charchita Uchishta bhojanam dasaha Tava mayam jayemahi. This verse has been spoken by Uddhava to Sri Krishna in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, my Lord, your devotees can cross over your Maya by the help of your mercy, which flows in 5 ways. Shrag, which means flower garland. Gandha, sandalwood pulp. You see, for Guru Puja, we offer sandalwood pulp as prasad to all the devotees. Sometimes devotees may just do it out of practice, but we must understand Prabhupada has given everything very thoughtfully. Everything is logical. By just applying the chandan which has been offered to the Lord, we make spiritual advancement. Just by wearing flower garlands which has been offered to the Lord, we make advancement. Third, vasa, which has 2 meanings. One is the clothing of the Lord. Sometimes you may get the dress of Jagannath. It's good to drape it on the top as prasad and then take it out. That's the mercy of the Lord. Second meaning of vasa is the fragrance. So just like Narasimharati, it's been offered to the Lord. Why do we do that? Because of this verse. By taking the fragrance which has been offered to the body of the Lord, we make spiritual advancement. So, shrag, which means flower garland, tvaya upabhukta shrag gandha, sandalwood pulp, vasa, which has two meanings, clothing and fragrance, alankara, ornaments. Sometimes you may get the bracelet of Radharani. Put it in your hand as prasad with honor and then take it out. It touches the body. It is mercy. And uchishta bhojanam, the remnants of the Lord. So in these 5 ways, Uddhava is saying, Krishna, you shower your mercy, and when your devotees accept your mercy, they cross over your maya. So Raghunath Bhatta Goswami here is accepting the Lord's alankara, the neck beads. And then he takes the blessings of all the Vaishnavas and he goes back. So for 4 years, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami goes back to Varanasi and he's serving his parents. Then his parents leave their bodies. Then he comes back to Puri. He comes back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he tells them, I have fulfilled all your instructions. I am reading Srimad Bhagavatam. I am chanting the holy name. I served my parents. And you wanted me to come back after they depart. So here I am for your service. Again for 8 months he stayed in Jagannath Puri, serving the Lord. He served Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again for 8 months. And this time Mahaprabhu was so pleased with him. He embraced Raghunath Bhatta. And he said, I profusely empower you to join my army in Vrindavan. My mother has told me not to go to Vrindavan and stay here in Jagannath Puri. Just like you served your parents, I am serving my mother. And now, I want you to do what I have to do in Vrindavan. Through your body, I will do it. So Raghunath Bhatta Goswami said, what is my task, O Lord? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I want you to just simply go and assist Sri Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. They are engaged in a 4-point formula of service. They are excavating lost pastime places. They are building temples of Vaishnava tradition. They are writing Vaishnava books, explaining the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. And by their practical example, they're teaching Vaishnava relationships and etiquette. Vaishnava Sadhana. So I want you to assist them in their service. But your primary service is to teach Bhagavatam. You are my Bhagavatam man. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in Jagannath Puri, it is Gadadhar Pandit. And in Vrindavan, it is going to be Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Every Acharya is uniquely chosen by the Supreme Lord for a purpose. We know study of Srimad Bhagavatam is so important. 64 limbs of bhakti, got down to top 5 limbs called as Panchanga Bhakti, Harinam Sankirtan, Shri Murti Prem Seva, deity worship, Mathura Vas or Dham Vas, living in a holy place, Sadhu Sangha, staying in the association and serving pure Vaishnavas, and Bhagavat Shravan. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, studying Srimad Bhagavatam, speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, sharing Srimad Bhagavatam is the life of Vaishnava community. Bhagavatam is all that we discuss. Srila Prabhupada time and again said, I want my disciples to scrutinizingly study my books. And it's fascinating how Prabhupada used that word, scrutinizingly. And if you go and look into the dictionary, it actually means to break down and study. So Prabhupada therefore gave us word by word meaning of every verse, which is not found in any other translation of Bhagavatam. Even the popular texts that we find of Gita Press and other translations, they are just direct translations of the verse. But Prabhupada gave word by word. So there are 2 things here. There is Bhav Artha, which means the purport of Prabhupada, the mood behind the verse, and there is Shabdhartha, the word by word translation. So we as devotees of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, we don't have lack of positive talks, please. We have so much to discuss. Pastime of Putana, pastime of Aghasura, pastime of Dhenukasura, pastime of Arishthasura, Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, Krishna's pastimes in Dwaraka, 6th canto Ajamil, 8th canto Gajendra, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And now we are having translations of other Goswami literatures also. There is so much to read, hear and speak and share with one another. Where is the time for any other nonsense? Where do we have time to speak anything else? We have so much backlog to catch up on. So if we focus on this, chanting the holy name, no criticizing of Vaishnavas, and studying Vedic literature and speaking about it, why won't there will be susukham kartum abhyayam? But when we don't do that, Krishna is not happy. And when Krishna is not happy, we are not happy. Yasmin tushte jagat tushtam. So Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was instructed to study Bhagavatam and teach Bhagavatam and assist the 6 Goswamis. So he very happily, he agreed. He bowed down to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now walking on his long journey from Puri to Vrindavan, he asked Swarup Damodar Goswami very intelligently, what was the path that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took when he went to Vrindavan? So now he made a roadmap of that same path. And then he would go to those places, and in those villages he would ask, did Gauranga Mahaprabhu come here? And then they would say, yes, he came here, and these were the inconceivable, beautiful, sweet pastimes that he did. And Raghunath Bhatta Goswami would write all of that down. In this village, Mahaprabhu did this. You see, when you love someone truly, you are very careful about all their details. Everything. Now, I'm really amazed. Srila Prabhupada's personal servants, whether it is the complete Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit series of Satswarup Maharaj, or whether it's the Transcendental Diary of Harishwari Prabhu, or whether it's What's the Difficulty by Shrutakirti Prabhu, or any of these pastime books of Srila Prabhupada by personal associates, I sometimes get amazed. How do they remember so much? I mean, we are reading Leelamrit and it says, Prabhupada opened the door with his left hand, and I'm thinking, what? I mean, how careful could you be in noting and remembering details? And then so-and-so person walked into the room and bowed down to Swamiji, and Swamiji gave a stern look, and then he looked to the right where he had a sweet box, and he picked the biggest laddu of it and gave it to him with a royal face. I'm thinking, it's inconceivable. Even Shrutakirti Prabhu's What's the Difficulty is what I'm reading now. It's amazing. Just like 160 reflections and half a page. Different pastimes. It's not continuous, but different titles. If you haven't read that book, it's a must read. You'll fall in love with Prabhupada more and more you read that. So many beautiful pastimes. So I'm thinking to myself, how do they remember? There's only one reason why. Because they adore and love Srila Prabhupada so much that they have taken notes about every single hand gesture of Srila Prabhupada. What we do in this world hardly matters. Anyway, even if we do it right, we get it wrong. But Srila Prabhupada, everything, whether he moves a shawl, whether he moves a stick, whether he bathes and he comes out, or whether he's chanting Gayatri. In one of the reflections I was seeing, Prabhupada would it spoke about how long Prabhupada would chant his Gayatri. In terms of minutes, and when he would typically do it, and what direction he would face. And I'm thinking, amazed. We actually get a complete a film in front of our eyes, through our ears, of course, hearing these pastimes. So Raghunath Bhatta Goswami loved Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so much that he would go to every person as he was walking. Did you see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Did you see? And they would say, and he would write everything down. This person said this person said this, and in this village Mahaprabhu sat here, and this is the prasadam that he ate, and this is the sweet that he liked, everything. And then on the way, as he was going to Vrindavan, he would say, Ha Gaura, Ha Gaura, Ha Gauranga, Ha Gauranga. What would he say? Ha Gauranga! Ha Gauranga! Ha Gauranga! Please don't feel shy to say loudly. Because Narottam Das Thakur says, Je Gaurangero naam le tar hoy prem uday. Anyone who says Gauranga's name, sure, it is rest assured that pure love for Krishna will rise in their heart. Having known this, let's give one last shot if everyone is okay with it. Gauranga! 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 Imagine how Raghunath Bhatta Goswami would be walking around in Vrindavan, intoxicated. And as he came, entering the borders of Brajadham, standing outside with a garland was Srila Rupa Goswami to welcome his eternal associate. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami embraced Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, garlanded him, gave him prasadam and said, we have heard so many wonderful things about you. This is another good thing about Vaishnava relationships. They genuinely see the good in others. It's not about, I am Rupa Goswami, you're Rupa Nugachar, follow me. It's not about that. Even Rupa Goswami is leading by example by holding a garland, welcoming Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami embraced and touched the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and asked Rupa Goswami how he could serve in Vrindavan. Rupa Goswami said, we want you to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. And Raghunath Bhatta Goswami would speak all morning and all night Srimad Bhagavatam. And he would take one verse and break it up, and he would mix up different perspectives of different Vaishnava Acharyas and sing it in 4 to 6 different melodies depending on the mood of that verse. Like for example, if that verse is in deep separation, he would take a raga in classical music which represents the mood of separation and sing that verse in that raga. So Bhagavatam would come alive. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami would speak, and people in the thousands would come and listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, even Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami would sit down and write as Raghunath Bhatta Goswami would speak. Many became disciples of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. And it is described, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami once, he was speaking about Govardhan Leela. And at that time there was no printing press, so the things were not, they were handwritten. It was not printed. So it is described as he was speaking on the pastime of Krishna lifting Giriraj, tears streamed profusely from his eyes. And Raghunath Bhatta Goswami said, my heart is like a mountain of anarthas, and my eyes are like the clouds of devastation. And these tears are the rain shower of Indra. So just like Govardhan had the rain shower from the clouds of Samvartaka, clouds by Indra, the Samvartaka of my eye, the clouds, are showering rain in the form of tears on the hill of my heart. May Krishna touch this hill and lift it someday. And as he was speaking, he was profusely crying, and so much so that the tears drenched the paper. And it smudged the next verse. Now imagine you're in the middle of reading and speaking, and your ecstasy reaches such an extent that the tears smudge the next verse and you don't know what's coming up. And you can go to like another ISKCON center and just, can you give me 7th canto Bhagavatam? There is no multiple copies there. I mean, it's only in the next generation when Narottam Shamananda and Srinivas Acharya came that they started making multiple copies. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami didn't know what to do. And he was crying like a madman. Is there anyone who knows what's the next verse? Can anyone tell me what if you have another copy? I will die without knowing what's coming up next. So they were not reading Srimad Bhagavatam being outside the book. They were reading Srimad Bhagavatam being inside the book. Pibata Bhagavata. They were drinking Srimad Bhagavatam. And he was running. So it's kind of fascinating. All 3 authors that we have today are connected to Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami went with Ramdas Vishwas, who was repeating the names of Ramachandra to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who sent him to Vrindavan, and it was Govardhan Leela that erupted in ecstasy. So they are very dear to Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and he is very dear to them. So in this way, he would speak Srimad Bhagavatam. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami's qualities are described, that he would never have idle talk. He would never talk gossip of this world. He never wrote a book in this world. Why? Because he was so absorbed chanting and hearing and remembering that even the thought of writing a book didn't come all his life. He was there exclusively just assisting Rupa and Sanatana. He would sing Srimad Bhagavatam, chant the holy name, cry and do Madhukari. This was life in Vrindavan. Out of many disciples that he had, one very rich disciple of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was empowered to renovate Radha Govinda Dev temple. And all the Bhagavatam classes would happen in this new renovated Govinda Dev temple altar, the hall, Bhagavatam hall. So Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was the one who inaugurated the Bhagavatam reading, which is still going on at Radha Govinda Dev temple in Vrindavan. It is the parampara of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, first time when he came, he was leaving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he got Mahaprabhu's Tulsi neck bead. And second time when he was leaving, Mahaprabhu gave him 2 gifts. He gave him a 14 feet Tulsi leaf goblet And second, he gave him betel nut leaves that was offered as prasad to Jagannath. And it is so amazing that the departure of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami is described that he was chanting the holy name, Srimad Bhagavatam was on his chest, he had the 14 feet tulsi garland around his neck, with the tulsi kanthi around his neck, the betel nut pan in his hand, and in this mood, in the association of other Vaishnavas, he left his body in Vrindavan. And how closely connected he was to Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami that all three of them left in the same year, in separation from one another. Sanatana Goswami left in the month of Ashad, let's say July, August. Rupa Goswami left the next month, August, September, Shravan Mas. And 1 month later, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, he also left in the month of Ashwin, which is like October, November. So the same year. So it also shows how much mutual love they had for each other. They couldn't tolerate each other's separation. Sanatana Goswami father left first, and Rupa Goswami left in separation from him. And Raghunath Bhatta Goswami left in separation from Rupa Goswami. And also Raghunath Bhatta Goswami father left on the same day that Raghunath Das Goswami and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami left in 3 different years. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami and Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. They left on the same day but in different years, while Rupa, Sanatana and Raghunath Bhatta left in the same year. To that Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, who has been empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to speak Srimad Bhagavatam, that same Bhagavatam that Srila Prabhupada has given to us, following in the footsteps of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, to this exalted Bhagavat line, we eternally bow down in gratitude. Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami Pad ki jai. Srila Goswami Pad ki jai. So this was day 1 of the lives of the 6 Goswamis. We heard Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. And tomorrow we will meet all of you in another discussion, another Goswami in the 6 Goswami series. Now who that's gonna be? Stay tuned. Hare Krishna.